media and listening public. To quote, the horrific impact of plastic on the environment is a global issue. In the era of manifested impact on climate change, Bermuda must consistently act to preserve the oceans around us. To this end, single-use plastics will be eliminated by 2022, and the intervening years will be spent educating the community about recycling and reusable items and encouraging greater sensitivity to the oceans and its importance to our lives, end quote. This is a quote from the 2018 speech from the throne. Since that time, the government, led by the Ministry of Home Affairs, has committed to eliminating single-use plastics in Bermuda by 2022. But before I continue, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Mr. David Northcott of the Ministry of Home Affairs, who has led the development of the government's policy on single-use plastics, aided and assisted by Dr. Smith, curator of the Bermuda Aquarium and Zoo, also from the Ministry of Home Affairs, and also Ms. Venice Gordon, who has worked with the Ministry of Home Affairs, but is attached permanently with the Ministry for Public Works. In 2018, speech from the throne, the public may recall, the government spoke to the impact of plastic on both the marine environment and on climate change, and how it has become a horrific global issue, and noted that Bermuda must act to preserve its oceans from plastic waste. There is growing evidence that plastics pollution in the air, on land, and our oceans and seas are detrimental to human health and our well-being. We continue to learn about this potential harm that microplastics in particular are having on human health, especially in the ocean's food chain, which threatens food security for everyone. When large pieces of plastic remain in the environment, they break down into smaller and smaller pieces, eventually becoming microplastics. Microplastics measure less than 5 millimeters, can stay in the ocean for centuries, and are of increasing concern as they represent a growing portion of marine matter. As such, microplastics are known to interact with a wide range of species, including plankton, fish, clams, seabirds, and marine mammals in diverse marine habitats. Microplastics also impact human beings. Research is ongoing, but a recent study conducted by the University of Newcastle in Australia has estimated that while consuming everyday food items, the average individual may ingest up to 5 grams of plastic a week, or equivalent of 1 credit card worth of plastic. I think we all should take a moment to think about that. Because of these 3 threats, climate change, ocean pollution, and human health, the government has committed to eliminating single-use plastics by 2022. We have also committed to educating the public about recycling and reusable items and encouraging greater sensitivity to the ocean and its importance to our lives. One of the most unfortunate side effects of the COVID-19 pandemic is a projected 30% increase in plastic waste in 2020 compared with 2019. So this initiative is even more critical for all of us. I am aware that many in our community may ask, what are single-use plastics? Single-use plastic, or SUPs, are plastic products that are used only once before disposal. They are made primarily from fossil fuel-based chemicals, otherwise known as petrochemicals, and are meant to be disposed of right after use, often in mere minutes. They are most commonly used for packaging and serviceware, such as plastic bottles, wrappers, straws, cutlery, and carrier bags. The process of extracting and transporting those fuels, then manufacturing the plastic, creates billions of tons of greenhouse gases, thereby further contributing to the challenge and problem of climate change. As of 2017, roughly 348 million metric tons of plastic is produced each year. This number is expected to double in 10 years. Approximately half of the plastic made is specifically for single-use purposes. It is no surprise that SUPs found in international coastal cleanup efforts. Many large countries worldwide are already instituting bans on single-use plastics in one form or the other, including Canada, Kenya, Zimbabwe, and the United Kingdom, some states in the United States, the European Union, China, and India. And also a number of islands in the Caribbean, in our region, have also made efforts to eliminate single-use plastics. However, many other small island states like Bermuda have also introduced single-use plastic bans, and these include Antigua and Barbuda, the Bahamas, Barbados, Dominica, Grenada, Jamaica, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and Trinidad and Tobago. Although much of the plastic waste in the ocean around us and found in our beaches does not originate in Bermuda, we still need to play our part in the global community's effort to eliminate single-use plastic waste, tackle climate change, and protect human health. To that end, back in March of this year, I proposed a 3-phased program to eliminate SUPs in Bermuda, with the main points outlined as follows. Phase 1, public information campaigns and consultations to review and provide feedback on the proposed bans, introduce legislation to ensure alternatives to plastic products are fully biodegradable, and allow companies and suppliers to use up their existing stocks of SUPs. Phase 2, introduce legislation prohibiting the sale, distribution, and use of banned SUPs while giving importers and businesses time to use their existing stocks and source biodegradable alternatives. And phase 3, recommencement of public consultation to assess the ban's impact and consult on the next round of plastic items to be banned and legislation to prohibit the importation, sale, distribution, and the use of further SUPs by the end of 2025. This phase will also see public education campaigns on the dangers that SUPs continue to bring upon us. As part of phase 1, I introduced the creation of a policy paper titled Regulating Single-Use Plastics in Bermuda. This document outlines the government's direction to eliminate single-use plastics and the intent of the intent to publish this paper for the public to discuss so that they and businesses and environmental organizations may have their say and contribute to the solution. I am excited and really pleased to introduce, as of the 1st of September this year, the policy paper will be available to review for the wider public for public consultation by visiting forum.gov.bm. Some examples of items that will be subject to the ban include, but are not limited to, styrofoam food service containers, example, the clamshell and hinge containers that we know about and we use, bowls, plates, hot and cold beverage cups, plastic utensils, including cups, spoons, forks, knives, lids, straws, and stirrers, plastic bags for bagging food and goods at restaurants, retail outlets, and grocery stores, plastic lined paper cups, and food containers. At this time, I must take a moment to acknowledge retailers, grocery stores, restaurants, hoteliers that already have led the way by replacing plastic bags, containers, straws with greener products and encouraging the use of reusable shopping bags. They have clearly demonstrated that we as a country can do this because they've already started doing it. I would like to note that we've already had consultations with the Chamber of Commerce, who are now consulting with their members on this initiative. I recognize that the commitment to eliminate single-use plastics was made before the COVID-19 pandemic, which we continue to work as a country to overcome. I am also aware that we have found with moving to other renewable products such as LED lights, there is often a disparity both in price and between the various customs tariffs, which can be a disincentive importing the products that we would like to see more of in Bermuda. And the same is true for single-use plastic replacement products. And the government is looking into this because we want to improve the situation with this process as soon as possible. Our consultations will include as many stakeholders as possible who wish to discuss the matter. This obviously includes the retailers and importers, wholesale businesses, and of course, our local environmental groups and advocacy groups, and of course, the general public. I urge everyone to engage with us in this consultation so that we all can work together to focus on fulfilling the goal of this policy and eliminating single-use plastics in our environment and bringing this forward to be executed as soon as possible. We understand this will take time, it will take transition, and it will take changes in behavior and practices, but we're committed to seeing this happen. And we want to work with everybody possible for this to be achieved. In closing, I have complete confidence that we all can play our part in eliminating single-use plastics, reducing the impact of climate change, keeping our oceans clean, and improving.
Thank you, Minister. That concludes
Thank you.
today's press briefing.
Okay, so now we'll take some pictures.